Nick Foles is starting for the Jaguars as soon as they get back off their bye. Minshew mania is effectively dead at this point. Kind of a shame, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely think Gardner Minshew had a kind of bad week last week. Um Offense only put up, I think it was 6 points. Was it
Yeah,
6 or 3 points,
he was 3. He's had kind of a lesser last couple weeks, which hasn't helped
Yeah.
his resume.
But it's definitely hurt his rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year talks. Obviously, it's hurt those. And I think it
It's not
hasn't
happening
100% been his
anymore.
fault. Yeah, I don't.
Guaranteed.
I think the Minshew magic has run out for at least this year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think it's 100% his fault that he lost his starting job. I think they have had bad weeks, but I feel like he's kind of been a bright spot at some points for those bad weeks, except this last week. I think it's more the fact that Nick Foles got paid so much money to come to Jacksonville,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't trade him at the trade deadline. They haven't released him, and he never got a chance to prove if he could play or not in Jacksonville. So I feel like it's more they paid him this much money, they brought him here over some other quarterbacks they could have taken here or drafted, and I feel like they're just like, we're going to get our money's worth. And
Exactly.
if they don't, I think then Gardner gets next year to be the full time starting quarterback all season. Unless they bring in a vet to start over him, we
Mm-hmm.
never know. This upcoming offseason, I think is going to be filled with a lot of free agents that we don't expect. Well, not that we don't expect, but just like big names like Cam Newton might be on the market, and just other
He's definitely going to be on the market. We'll talk about it in a
yeah, but
second.
definitely a couple other players who might be either trade or be open for trade or might be free agents or released.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think it's more they want to see if Nick Foles is worth the money
Yep.
and if he's their future, or if they stick with Gardner Minshew or draft a quarterback. I think they're just trying to figure out all their options because they never really got a good look at Nick Foles.
Exactly. That was my point. I think the biggest reason that Nick Foles is now going to be the starter since he's healthy is because they paid him a crap ton of money. And if you pay a guy that kind of money, you kind of have to play him. You're not
Just a
going
little bit.
you're not going to pay a guy tens of millions only to sit on the bench behind a rookie. No offense to Gardner Minshew, but you can't pay a guy tens of millions to sit behind a 6th round draft pick on the bench. You can't. Moving on, another quarterback. News: Cam Newton, his season's effectively over as he is put onto the injured reserve. This wasn't too surprising because he's really that injury on his foot has been nagging him a lot. But it's just now clear that at least for the rest of the regular season, they're going to be rolling ahead with Kyle Allen.
Yeah. In those for those of you guys who don't understand why he would be out for the rest of the season, after you get put on IR, after halfway through the season, you have to stay on there for the rest of the season. So
Regular
that's why
season at
it's
least, he
effectively
is.
ending
If
the
they make the
season.
playoffs, he is eligible to play. But
Yes, if they
that's a
if they
big
make the playoffs,
if.
he is eligible to play.
That's a big if they make the playoffs.
They have been on a roll. Kyle Allen is only 5-1. They did start off 0-2. So definitely, I think they have a chance to make the playoffs. I do
Mm-hmm.
think they stick with Kyle Allen
Yep.
in the playoffs unless Cam Newton gets hurt. Um,
Yeah.
but I feel like Cam Newton's time on the Panthers is up. I feel like Kyle Allen has proven that he can play.
Yep.
Going 5-1 in the NFL is not easy to do, especially when it's your first time as a starter.
Yep.
Um, and I think that Cam Newton is going to be on the open market. I think teams probably, I think the Bears, in all honesty, I think they move on from
Mm-hmm.
Mitch Trubisky and
Hey,
try
hey,
to
save
go
that
after
thought for a
Cam.
second. Save that thought for a second, okay?
Yeah.
Don't want to spoil it for the audience. Stick around a little longer. Get our view time up, okay?
All right. But yeah, I think Cam Newton's time is done.
Yep. Last one I want to talk about is there's the rumor mill is running wild with this one, and that is, are the Chargers actually considering moving to London?
Um, mm,
Considering to according to the owner, no, the report is total BS. But fuck you, Spanos. Number one, and two, why not speculate? It's fun. It gets the headlines.
Yeah, it's something fun to
It
talk
gets the
about,
views.
definitely.
The,
Yep,
the biggest impact
definitely.
I could see on this is if the Chargers do move, that will screw the hell out of the divisions in the AFC at least, because there's no way in hell that the Chargers
Yeah.
stay in the AFC West while they're across the Atlantic Ocean. So you're going to find someone to move into the AFC West, and you're going to. It's like you're going to shift every team, like every team, from East Coast to West, um, over a division. So you're going to take someone like from the AFC North or South, move them into the AFC West, then fill that hole, then fill that hole, then put the Chargers into the AFC East. Is that the way it would go?
Yeah, no, it's definitely be a weird situation. There is a lot of memes about this week. We do look at the memes,
Of
guys. We're
course, memes are
professional,
big.
but we love a good joke.
Memes
But
can be
it was
professional,
like
Jalen.
yeah, it was a quote from the Chargers coach. It was like, "No one wants to play in foggy ass, stinky ass London." I thought it was hilarious. At first, I thought it was on a real page because I do follow a page that has the same logo as a meme page. So at first, I thought it was
Oh
a real
shit.
a real quote, and I was like, "Well, that's not going to go over well with international relations." But I don't think it'd be the best move. Um, I don't. I just think that they should kind of keep it in the United States. I love teams playing in other countries.
I
Like I
don't.
love the idea of us playing a game in Mexico, even though we do need to fix the problem with Mexico
As a
field.
fan,
I
I
think
think it's shitty.
I think they need to fix that Mexican field that they
Hmm.
have.
Oh yeah, Mexican feels
I
shitty
love
too.
having yeah, I love having games in London.
I
Uh,
don't.
those games are kind of exciting, other than the fact that they all do happen really early here. I feel like
The
they should
British
move those
don't
to more
deserve anything
midday
good,
games.
especially not the best football in the world. Fuck you, soccer.
Okay. Um, but I think they should move London games to later in the day if possible. I think having them so early, a lot of Americans do end up missing those games, which is why those
Yeah,
games
it's
have
like the
such low
UFC
viewing.
having a show in Korea. Who the hell wants to wake up
Yeah,
at 5 in the morning
it,
to watch a fight? Or
and it's just
China for
it
that. Wake
doesn't
up at
help.
3 o'clock in the morning for a main card? Nah, it's not happening.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I think if they want to make it like a thing that everyone's all right with, you kind of have to find a middle ground for both
Yeah.
sides. Yes, that's a great time to do it for London people. That's like their early morning game. But I feel like if you're gonna do that at the same time, you also have to worry about your main audience because right now your London audience isn't big enough to just take over your American
No,
audience. You
not
have
even
to find a
close.
middle ground. Exactly. So I feel like you have to find a middle ground to where people can still view the games
Hmm.
from America and watch and go to the games in London at the same time, so you still can gain both followings at the same time
Yep,
and not lose following.
I agree,
So
Jalen.
I think that playing games in other countries works. I think we still need to kind of work out a few of the kinks,
Hmm.
but I don't think we should move a team
Totally
to
agree with
another
you.
country unless we were planning on expanding the NFL. I don't think we should move an already made team
Yep.
to the new country.